Okay, I would like to,
Hear us?
oh yeah, can you hear us okay? Okay, there we go. I'd like to call the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, May 31st to order at 7:02 PM. First order of business is the approval of minutes. So we've got the May 9th, 2022 minutes in front of us. Did everyone get a chance to read them and comment?
Yes.
Anybody have any edits they wanted to make?
I have one.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh, towards the very end, I don't have the minutes in front of me, but towards the very end, there was a vote and it mentioned Mole voted affirmatively.
Mentioned what?
What did it mention, Jim?
Mole.
Mole?
Oh,
That was the first version.
Mole?
Yeah.
vote?
yeah,
Mole,
Is that a?
Monica.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the
Mole.
first, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
it's been corrected.
Yeah,
I was gonna say-
I was gonna say that got fixed.
Okay, so if that's been changed,
Yep, yeah, that got fixed, Jim, in a subsequent version.
Okay, I don't think I saw that subsequent version, but
Well, Lisa gave me, I sent it out to
Yeah.
everybody after that, so.
Yeah,
You got it?
yep. Yeah, so that's been fixed in there, so, okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Motion by Lisa, second by Pat, all in favor?
I,
Unanimous? I should have mentioned, if you do have a cell phone, I know there's some actual people here, including board members, so if you do have a cell phone, please make sure that it's muted. The next item on the agenda is the public comment period. So this is a chance for anyone from the public to comment on something that's not already on the agenda for tonight. Anybody?
I've already given my name and said I'm here as observer from the community party.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the anybody else?
I will move to close the public comment period.
Okay, motion by Jim,
second,
second by Lisa, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the continuation of the public hearing for subdivision 2022-4563. Gary Ormsby is proposing a subdivision of an existing parcel located at 2570 North Trip Hammer Road, tax parcel number 42.1-1-54, which contains 1.92 acres or 82,767 square feet and is located in the medium density residential district. Mike, I know we talked about this last time and there was just one or two outstanding things, and
All we were waiting for was Jan to bring in the, your final plans for you to sign, and she's provided 3 of them for us.
we have those. So there is a resolution for this, right?
okay, what did, you said a number that I don't know that matched the resolution, that's what it is. So it ended in 7 for some, 2,764 square feet,
82,764 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right,
Did I say something different?
I thought you did, I thought you had,
82,764 square feet.
yes.
There we go.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
Mine doubled the 7. Okay, so we can move on to we do need to close the public comment period first. So I'll entertain a motion to close the public comment period. Public hearing, sorry.
I move that we close the public hearing for,
Motion by Lisa,
Second.
second by Pat. All in favor? And then we can move on to the resolution. So this is the Village of Lansing Planning Board Resolution for final plat approval of minor subdivision number 2022-4563, adopted on May 31st, 2022. Whereas this matter involves consideration of the following proposed action. It's the item that I just listed. It's dividing into 2 lots. Lot A1 would be 0.97 acres and contain the existing home. Lot A2 would be 0.95 acres and a new buildable lot. Both lots do not meet village code section 145-40E 1B1 for minimum lot size of 1.37 acres and would require an area variance. And on May 3rd, 2022, the Village of Lansing Board of Zoning Appeals approved and granted area variances for both of those potential lots, contingent on planning board subdivision approval. On April 26, 2022, the Village of Lansing Planning Board, in accordance with subsection D of section 125-5 of the Village of Lansing Code, reviewed the sketch plan submitted with respect to this proposed action and classified the proposed subdivision as a minor subdivision. The planning board finds this to be a type 2 action for seeker purposes. And on April 26, 2022, May 9th, 2022, and tonight, May 31st, 2022, the Village of Lansing Planning Board held a public hearing regarding this proposed action and thereafter thoroughly reviewed and analyzed the proposed final subdivision plat and accompanying materials and information presented by on behalf of the applicant in support of this proposed action. And all of their information and materials rightfully before the board, all issues raised during the public hearing and or otherwise raised in the course of the board's deliberations. So I will entertain a motion that based upon all of its foregoing review and action, it's hereby determined that the Village of Lansing Planning Board grant a minor subdivision for this special permit.
We grant.
Motion by Pat,
I'll second.
second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, so I will, I've got how many final plats here to sign? 3?
Got 3,
Okay.
2 for Jan and 1 for us to have here.
Do you want me to do those now?
If you
I
want
don't
to
know if
sign
she
them, I
needs
fill
them
them
now,
all out. You want to take them with you?
Okay, that way you don't have to stick around till the end.
Sure.
Have a good one. Okay. The next item on the agenda, do you officially open a public hearing or do I? You need to. Okay, so we're going to open a public hearing for special permit number 2022-4575. McGuire Chevrolet Cadillac loaded at 35 Cinema Drive, tax parcel number 46.1-6-5.12 is seeking to update the existing building with improvements to the interior showroom areas, service area, and body shop. John Snyder, representing McGuire Chevrolet Cadillac, will review the proposed changes, which include a new entrance to the west facade and a second floor for the new Cadillac showroom. You want to kick us off, Mike?
Sure, you want.
Oh, is it a motion to do that? Okay, so entertain a motion to open the public
I
hearing.
move that we open a public hearing for special permit 2022-4575.
Motion by Lisa,
Second.
second by Pat, all in favor? Right? Hey,
I have the mailings. John Schneider provided the mailings for me as required. I did turn in the GML 239 to the county. I did hear back from them, John. They're requesting some more information, which I'm sure you're going to provide to us anyway. They want to see, what the addition looks like. And then for them to continue their review. So I basically emailed them back saying that I'm sure that you'll be turning that into us anyway, and I'll send it over. That's basically what I have.
and John, do you want to kind of run us through the proposed changes here?
Yeah, I think joining me also is Phil McGuire. I don't know, Phil, do you want to make a brief introduction to the project?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for having us here tonight. I think we're very excited. This is phase 2 of what we proposed with our Nissan dealership. And so through that planning board process, we alluded to the site next door. And so it's been a couple of years. And I think the feedback that we got on Nissan was wonderful. And we made a lot of great changes that enhanced that property for our customers, for our family, and certainly for Lansing. And we've infused or intend to infuse all of the same things in this site next door. And so we look forward to the process, and we look forward to your feedback.
Thanks. John, did you have more that we've got? Obviously, we've got the application in front of us. We've got some a couple sketches in front of us if you wanted to go over those.
Yeah, I've got a presentation. So if I can just share my screen.
Gosh, your name. Yeah, you should be able to.
Are you able to see the proposed site plan?
Yep.
Okay. So what we're proposing is a small, we're essentially removing this front section of the building and in approximately the same footprint, however, expanding out towards the west side is a small addition. And this is for primarily the Cadillac showroom. You know, they have certain manufacturer size requirements that we have to meet. So that's the reason for that expansion. You'll see some renderings here in a second. It's a pretty attractive, or at least what I think is a very attractive facade. The remaining portions of the building are going to be largely renovated in full, you know, essentially tearing out all the existing walls and rebuilding walls. We do have a new Chevrolet branded entrance up here towards the corner with a set of steps that are going to link you down to customer parking down in this lower area. And then we've also created a handicap accessible parking spot up here close to the building for service customers and showroom customers. There'll be a side door into the main Chevrolet showroom over here. The existing retaining or timber retaining wall that's out here, actually it's a little further back, it's like in the line back here, is going to be removed, and we're going to do a similar stone retaining wall along this face, similar to what we did on the Nissan site here in the corner, if you remember that. And I've got some imagery here in a minute to refresh everyone's memory. Along the front of the building here, we have a, to match up to that stone, another retaining wall. We have a vehicle display corner here, which is kind of a planted bed around kind of an elliptical shape. And then we have another one here in the corner, which would have, kind of a low height stone wall. And I'll show some imagery of that. It's very similar to what we're proposing or what we've done at the Ford dealership on Meadow Street here in Ithaca. The remaining, this is going to remain as a service drive in for customers coming up into the building as it currently exists. And vehicle service parking will be down in this area. And we also have some Cadillac customer parking up here in the front. We've got a couple green planted islands that we're proposing here at the end of this run here. And we're showing kind of connecting the sidewalk from the Nissan sidewalk down along the front of the building and also down Sima Drive. This is a rendered view of the new Cadillac showroom, looking at, kind of the drive lane that goes behind the building here. It's, a very contemporary, modern feel to it. It's got a canted wall, and there will be additional space above this in the structure for a second floor, where there would be some part storage, and we also have a conference room, general manager's office up on the second floor. The idea is that this will all be planted. This lane here is for a access to vehicle display. You know, we currently have vehicle display that is accessed off of Uptown Road. And we're bringing the vehicles in along the front, and we've created a couple spots here. We're also loading in vehicles to the showroom on this end over here and also on this end over here.
John, could I just ask a question on that last, where you showed us the rendering of the Cadillac? Would you just orient me? So this road coming in on the front right above Saratoga Associates, is that onto Cinema Drive directly? Or no, that's onto Uptown? That's the,
That's
okay,
on-
I meant
That's
Uptown.
that corner, Lisa, yep, right in this corner.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure I
Yep.
understood. Thank you.
Mhm. And then I've got a few images. I don't have rendered views of the Chevy entrance, but you know, it is this dimension roughly. It's blue. The remaining panels would be a kind of a grayish color. And that'll be located right at that corner. This is another view. This isn't a rendered view on our site, but this is just giving you the idea of what the exterior of this looks like. The retaining walls.
Okay. Freeze. What happens now?
I think we lost them. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Okay, I'll do my best to fill in some of the gaps till he comes back. Yeah, so the Cadillac rendering is just an existing current store that has been built. Below that is a decorative stone retaining wall. Oh, we lost his share screen, I think.
you. We've
John, you
we've
there
some
again?
printed copies in front of us.
Okay,
There he is. You're muted, John.
There,
All right, I'm
There
back.
you
where was I?
Did I leave off?
go.
Retaining walls, I think.
Right around the retaining wall, Phil jumped in, yeah.
Okay, so, you know, this is an example of the retaining wall that we're proposing for our site. This is the vehicle display on the corner of Uptown and Cinema Drive. You know, this is a Lenrock material, stone material, concrete is where the vehicles would park. We'll have a nice planting area in front of that. And I believe that's my presentation. The goal here is to kind of present, you know, kind of solicit some feedback and comments and, you know, engage you in our process as we develop this.
I have two questions.
Mhm.
Hi, Jim.
Okay, is the adjacent to the entrance to the current service department, there's also an entrance to the showroom. Did you say that that entrance would also be retained? That's 90 degrees from the current service entrance?
Yes, there is a sidewalk that will link all the way across here and vehicles would, you know, kind of cross that path. But yes, this would be maintained. We are not showing a pedestrian route down to the front of the building. The idea is that customers will come up the stairs here to the showroom in the area.
Hey, John,
This
do
is a fairly,
you want to reshare your screen? When you dropped off, it stopped sharing it.
oh, shoot. Sorry. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let me try to blow this up. Oop.
Blew it up already.
Let me blow this up a little bit.
No, I know, you know, from this picture where that entrance is,
Yep.
right where
Yeah,
the
this
plus.
is, yep, this is a fairly steep slope coming down here. We want to try to encourage customers to come up into the main stairs to the showroom.
And
We
then the
will have
other,
a set of stairs. We will have a set of stairs, I'm sorry, a sidewalk and a set of stairs along this side that links up to the street.
and I had another, it looks like continuing, let me think, to the south, you have these two planters, so with that, where that first row of parked cars closest to the building, would that essentially be a dead end? Or would cars be able to exit out that place where I think they can now?
Are you talking about up here?
No, get down towards the bottom of the,
There.
Oh, yeah, no,
Right.
the vehicles would be able to come down this and exit out down here.
okay, because that wasn't clear from the picture.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, the shadow lines kind of obscure the drive lane there, but this
Okay.
is a drive lane and you can get down through here. We angled the parking just to keep things compact.
Sure,
We do have a couple electric vehicle charging stations that we're working on installing. One will be here, another one will be here, and then we've got 3 or 4 more along here. I should also point out that we will have we will be treating this facade with a new metal panel. Will essentially go over top of the existing construction to dress up this facade. And also, we're looking at doing a kind of a subtle marquee here for the body shop. So customers will be able to go into the body shop in this location.
John, are those EV chargers really for the sole purpose of cars that you're selling, people who are there for service or stopping by the showroom, or are they really intended to be more of a public thing?
No, they would be more for the customers and for service. They will have credit card readers on them because that's kind of our standard. Cadillac is going all electric, and they're the ones kind of behind this big push right now.
Okay.
How does that work actually? So it's intended for, but anybody can come in and do that and use them. Is that the way it is anywhere, I guess, if it's a credit card?
Yeah, generally.
Okay. Okay, so I had a few questions.
Yep, go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, so this parcel is a separate parcel from the Nissan parcel, right? I
That is
just, okay, so I don't remember whether, well, when I went over there to look at the site, so you've added some trees. And I wanted to ask about the lighting, because on the south side, it's not shown here, but I mean, I had noticed when we were doing the Nissan project that those street lights are really, I actually spoke to John Courtney. I was a little concerned whether they might topple over because they were so rusted. So obviously the lighting is going to be replaced. Will it emulate the lighting that's along that south end, those lower black downward facing lights that basically light up your cars?
Yeah, I don't think they would want to be that low, Lisa. There's a couple of issues here. One, first and foremost, the lighting that's out there is in the public way.
Right.
And those poles, as you have noticed, are pretty rusted and old. So the intention is to replace those and move those into our lot and go with a more conventional height pole, which is a little bit more efficient from a lighting standpoint and allows us to get better lighting into our parking lot for safety, and also allows us to diminish the light at the property line, which I know is an important consideration.
Right. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to be interested in the signage. And I wasn't, because that's farther down the line, but I don't know how much As you recall, that was a bit of a sticking point last time, so we'll be watching that, I'm sure.
Yep.
And other than that, I don't know what we're a little early in the process, but were there any, Brent, maybe you remember, or Mike, were there any like kind of loose ends that were supposed to be dealt with once we did phase two
So Brent,
from the Nissan?
Yes, Brent has
Yeah.
one and
Oh.
I've got one, but he might be able to cover both of them.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I would say. There's a couple loose ends. First, which was something that I had remembered from before, was it seems as though after the Nissan project, we did not take into consideration how to accommodate truck unloading. And I've personally witnessed the car haulers parking right out here in Cinema Drive. Seems quite inappropriate. And I think we had brought that up, that really wasn't any way to accommodate that at the late stage of the game on Nissan. But when this project came along, we would reintroduce that question.
Okay.
And then I think the one other topic that Mike's referring to is that when the stormwater management plan for Nissan was designed, it was one single parcel, and there's some portions of the stormwater system that again, at the very last minute of the project, there was a subdivision of the two lots, or, from one lot to two lots, and I'm not sure that we really addressed what the relationship of the two properties would be as far as managing the stormwater facilities off from Nissan, which then leads me to a kind of a new question, that since this is not a full reconstruction, clearly we're not looking at a gross amount of new impervious surface, so we don't really get a bite at the apple in terms of asking for a full-blown stormwater plan. But I think that we probably do get to at least ask if there's some amount of stormwater management that could be incorporated into the plan that would at least give the terminology is defined within the DEC regulations called redevelopment strategy. And I'm not really sure exactly what all that would be, but at least I'd like to have John and Saratoga think about what kind of things could be done that would be basically in lieu of actual full stormwater management design.
Sure. And Brent, I can comment on the truck loading and unloading.
Okay.
The intent always was to, in the south side of the building, you will see the back entrance is the ideal place for trucks to load and unload. And in the manufacturer settings, we have the ability to instruct the delivery people on where those sites are. We do struggle with independent truck brokers that we do not control, that may show up and do something different. And so we send consistent feedback and communication with the delivery companies to try to make sure that they know where to go and where not to go. But it is an ongoing problem that we acknowledge. And if there are ways to mitigate that in this design, we're certainly open-minded to that, because we don't want those trucks where you're describing either. So
I think that it would be helpful to have you maybe just paint it out or show on the ground where it is that you would ask these truckers to end up, because like I said, I personally have I guess for lack of a better word, confronted the drivers before, and just as you said, they're kind of cowboy independents, but if I can't say, look, over there, you know, McGuire has provided you a place and it's right there, I think it's going to be hard to get them to believe that there is such a thing.
Sure, we'll get a truck delivery plan.
That'd be good.
Yep.
Other comments from the board?
No.
Okay, so, right, the things that I would add, people have already mentioned, right? I know that when we did this for the Nissan dealership, I think the kind of three big items were plantings and trees. I know that we had a very healthy discussion about trees on that lot. It actually guided quite a bit of the work that we've been doing on a new tree ordinance, which we're also discussing a little bit later in the village here, and lighting. So I think those were some, so signage, lighting and trees were some big things when we talked about Nissan that we're definitely gonna, focus on this go around like we do with, all other special permits that have come for us since then. Just some things to think about as we kind of move forward on the next steps. Mike?
I didn't mention that John did provide me with a short EAF. I haven't had a chance to review it yet, but we generally will take a look at that in the next meeting anyway. The other thing, John, what I mentioned is if you could, provide me some more detail as far as the expansion of the Cadillac area and any of your changes to the Chevrolet area. That way I can send it to the county and the planning board can also take a look at it if you would, please.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, Mike.
So I guess with that, when you get some of the information that Mike requested, some of the feedback that we provided, and get it to Mike, and we'll see you at a future board meeting.
Okay.
Awesome, and thank you very much for coming and presenting tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public hearing for special permit number 2022-4576. Richard Briggs, representing the Brixmore Property Group, is proposing to remodel the former Party City section of the Cayuga Mall located at 2309 North Trip Hammer Road, tax parcel 46.1-5-4.2 into the Tompkins County VA outpatient clinic. So I will entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
I move to open public hearing for special permit 2022-4576.
Motion by Lisa,
Second the motion.
second by Jim, all in favor.
Aye.
Mike, you want to start us off with anything?
Yeah, I don't see,
Yeah.
I don't see Rick on here. I don't know whether there's someone on there who's representing him. I can do my best to get you through as much as I can here. The basic stuff, I did receive the mailings and everything from Rick. This does not have to go through a 239 because it's a commercial property that has no change in the footprint. So it's basically, the county does not need to review this. The reason it is for a special permit is pretty much the same reason that we had Cayuga Medical in here. It is a change of use with an increase in parking. And I believe the last time the planning board remembers, when we discussed the Cayuga Mall and its parking was when you had the big lots change and the Planet Fitness came in. Is the parking. So I don't know whether Pat, you remember that or anything. I think that's one of the suggestions, or what I recommend the planning board is have me get a hold of Rick and say, hey, look, you gotta analyze, what the parking situation is there. Let them work on that.
And Rick is from Brixmore, who owns the whole mall. Is that true?
Rick represents
Oh,
the company that's bringing in the VA clinic.
okay, because Because again, I think, when I drove over there, just looking at the parking lot, I think it may be, the parking lot's getting all dug up because of all the renovations, like at Aldi. Might be a good time to start suggesting some changes there, because that parking lot is another safety issue where it's an open space, lots of impervious surface, no trees to stop anything.
I agree. But this is a little bit of a different situation.
I know it is.
They don't own that.
Mhm, right.
They don't own that.
But because I was wondering how we might go about that with the people that do own the parking. I mean, who owns it? It's owned by the mall people.
Brixmore.
Brixmor is, that's why he's representing them, but he isn't Brixmor. Is that
He's
correct?
Representing them here, as, that's how they're connected. He's part of the VA clinic, but.
Okay, so he's not a Brixmor employee.
I guess what I can do is contact representative from Brixmore and see if they'll attend this next meeting. Or actually reach out to them and ask for, what could possibly be done with the parking lot. Because we do have, we are working on this tree ordinance. We are working on trying to beautify a lot of these malls. See if they can come here in front of the planning board so you can, speak to them about it.
Because, every time, I go over there to the various stores and the stop signs are always knocked down. People don't stop at the stop signs. I think we need, some people just walk into the crosswalk without even looking, expecting people to stop. And I just think maybe we need to have a kind of comprehensive look at the parking lot. And I was really hoping they were going to be here tonight, frankly. I didn't understand that this was not Brixmor themselves. I thought it was. So I, for one, would be really happy to have them come to one of our meetings, because I think the more successful their mall is, the more dangerous it's getting, because people get impatient with all the, a crosswalk every 10 feet.
Yeah, well, I think we need to know a little bit about, it's not clear exactly, what the function of the clinic is.
Yeah,
When Caitlin Med came, we had a chance to, ask them exactly what a normal day is like there, who's coming, who's going, things like
Yeah.
that. I think it'd be, is this, this future tenant space here, is this part of the current Party City, or is that a piece?
And it's
next
part of
door?
the Party City. They
Okay.
are working on putting up a demising wall here.
Okay.
To separate that. They may have either future offices. This is what I've been told, either future offices, or they may sublet that out.
Okay, but that is part of the current Party City
Yes.
as it stands now.
but I'm glad you asked that, because
Yeah.
yellowed that one myself, yeah.
They currently have a building permit to do the demising wall and do all the construction. What needs to be done for the clinic. I'd like to find out, it's a shame that Rick's not here. I wanted to find out, what type of kind of staff is going to be there, that's just basically.
We don't have, one of the things I did notice is, and that I would like addressed too before it even goes to the lighting commission, is these flagpole lights. First of all, I guess the flagpole can be higher than the building.
Flagpole.
They show a flagpole.
I think that's it.
It's a very large.
Yeah.
And it's like showing it, the picture, it shows it way above. Like twice the height. Of the building height, which we have a limitation of 35 feet, right?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's
Yeah,
But my real thing,
an actual.
I don't know.
and they even call out flagpole lights to be on photo
What
icon.
does it say?
50 feet.
50 feet. Well, there's an issue for me with the flagpole in that I'm not sure if that's the height, but if that's the height, we got to talk about that. But because I was on the lighting commission and we have dark sky compliant stuff, they have it lit
Mhm.
and it's upward facing. And so if they're going to have a flagpole, they need to have it downward facing, number one. I think the flagpole needs to be lower. But also, I think we had checked I would like to, maybe Natalie, you can help with this, the legislation on flags. Somebody said, oh, the flag has to be lighted. But I sort of recall looking at that, and what it is the flag isn't, I'm not even sure there's really a law per se, but it's not to be in darkness. And given all the lighting we've got going on in our village, I'm not sure anything could ever be in darkness. So I just would like that to be on the table too, because that, I thought, what is this flag going up into? stratosphere. So.
Like I said, it's a shame he's not here.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to save it till next time.
And does it, I see, and I don't remember seeing this plan on Cayuga Med, and I don't even know if it makes any difference or not, but there's a pharmacist office in the back, so I don't know if there's any different. I know we talked about this over here about, what kind of medicines and things like that are they going to be dispensing from there, and does that make a difference? So.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, where is that? I saw it.
If you look at either of the floor plans, it's
Very-
all the way to the left. It says pharmacist office. Yeah. So I don't know, what kind of,
Or whether they're prescribing or
Yeah.
whatever.
because I know that they were gonna do some things here at the facility here, but that was gonna be like medicines that are already prescribed to people. Yeah, and so it wasn't, yeah, just, I think it's an important question to ask, and
I think you're right.
let's see. Okay, well, in lieu of them being here to discuss it, I guess we'll keep it open for the, yeah,
Mike,
go ahead, Brent.
I would point out to Mike Scott, maybe we could have some kind of requests from them for a sewer unit or water consumption estimate, just so we
Yes,
can
I had that down too.
compare that to whatever the
Party
existing
City.
is. And then
Yeah.
they should also and be inclusive of what they think that might be the anticipated consumption from the tenant space, so that, we know a basis of comparison.
Okay.
Oh, you mean the future tenant?
Yeah. the
Yeah,
future
Brent,
tenants.
I did request that, but I didn't request the sublet place, so I'll also get those numbers for you. That's a
Yeah,
good
great.
point.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it clearly, there's already more, facilities than what's at Party City, so, yeah, I mean.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other thoughts before I move on from board members?
Nope.
So we'll keep that on the agenda, and we'll see if they can come next time to have a bit more of a discussion, or let us know that they won't be here. The next thing on the agenda is the continuation of the public hearing for the final plat of cluster subdivision proposal number 2021-4464 by Beer Properties LLC. Beer Properties LLC and Hunt Engineers are providing a final plat of a cluster subdivision for property parcel number 45.2-1-47.2, which consists of approximately 40 acres of vacant land located between Craft Road and Bush Lane. The final plat, along with details of proposed duplex lots, will be reviewed by the planning board. And I thought that I saw somebody online here. David. Oh, is David here? Okay. Hey, David, how are you?
Oh, there he is. Oh, good.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good, thanks.
Sure. Yeah, so Mike, did you have anything you wanted to start us off, or do you want to?
No, whatever Dave wants to present here.
Yeah, go ahead, David. Let us know what's going on. We haven't seen you in a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that, my mom is here just out of camera, just so you're aware she's involved. And Chris Wood hasn't signed in yet, but hopefully he'll be on shortly. But I'll just kind of try to introduce the situation as it exists right now. So, after consultation with John and Brent over the width of the roadway easement and their kind of design guidelines for where the road should sit, where the shoulders should sit, where the drainage ditches should be, and where the public sidewalks sit. They managed to kind of cram things into the 60-foot right of way with maybe a couple exceptions, which Brent might elaborate on at some point. But Chris Wood and the Hunt people incorporated that into documents that were sent to you guys last week. And I guess we're looking for kind of everyone to sign off on this latest detail, so that Chris's team can kind of flesh things out in terms of the entire plan. And then also included in documents you got last week is a drawing that shows the Greenway Trail, the sidewalk along the West Road, and the HOA pathways, which are available, to the residents of the property, but not explicitly to the general public. So that's where we stand now. If you have any comments on anything you've seen, just chime
Yeah, Brent, go ahead. I was going to say, do you want to elaborate on any of the
Yeah.
discussions you've had?
Yeah, so it was probably a month or three ago that we did have a couple of separate meetings with David's team. And I can say from my perspective that they made significant adjustments to basically all of the requests that I had for kind of lot layout and configuration to try to account for minor things that I thought were worth paying attention to, like trying to make sure that all of the lots, as much as possible, stayed off from designated wetlands, and that easements for water and sewer were off from private property as much as possible. And then, as David alluded to, the desire to see the infrastructure be contained within the standardized 60-foot right of way. And in the drawings that they shared here just the last week, which was 3 drawings, one was a kind of an overall, and 2 that were showing more of like, David, is that what you would call like phase 1 and phase 2? Is that kind of how you're seeing that?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it is, but it's more to break the drawing up.
Yeah.
So it's a more legible.
Right. So on that, so basically everything that we had previously talked about have been incorporated into those latest version of the drawings. What those drawings don't yet provide, and I'm assuming that that's what David's referring to, is, taking the next level of effort for Hunt to develop a number of detailed things that I know John Courtney had been asking for, such as water and sewer detailing for Bolton Point specs and that type of thing. So, I didn't see those in the latest version, but I'm guessing that that's what you're referring to, David, is that if the reaction to the latest lot layout is favorable, then Chris will be working on what you would call real engineering, or the hardcore engineering part of it.
Chris indicated that, if everyone agrees that what's presented tonight is reasonable, that, his people have another 40 hours worth of design time to address, to finalize this stuff, get to the highest degree necessary of detail, and to also to address the other, from John and Brent's lists of 30 some items, to, address them in drawings and finalize that aspect of, the back and forth.
Yeah, I think one of the important details that we may have, we did request to be given attention, and that was something that Chris and David were reacted to pretty much right as soon as we started the technical meetings, was to reconfigure, I guess, what I would call the phase 2 portion of it in such a way that the loop road is aligned with the phase one road such that there's a four-way intersection instead of what was previously like 3 T intersections side by side by side. So I think that that was probably the single biggest ask that we had from the last time the planning board got together. And I think that they've met that completely in terms of that they've done the best they can do is to line up the one intersection into a four-way, and then that loops back around effectively in the optimal location halfway between the four-way intersection and the future Janivar or future Lansing Trails 3 configuration. So that was kind of like the reset button that everything else that we've talked about and they've worked on has kind of been reworked around that specific starting point.
So do we have you spoken with John Courtney, and has he had an opportunity, does John need to see these plans again as well?
I haven't gotten any feedback yet from John.
Okay. Because I think at this point, from my standpoint, we're relying on DPW, Brent, and you to kind of guide us on this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm just really glad that that four-way intersection was able to be developed. And so now, and in terms of, I was looking at the site data and I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I really know whether this is all accurate or not, but I'm assuming you looked at that and it's correct.
Yeah, I mean, I, like Brent said, I know the biggest thing last time we talked was the realignment of that intersection. And, you know, I think everything else was, I don't want to say, you know, was minor, but compared to the intersection, it was definitely a more minor thing. So,
So I would say if the planning board is good with what these paths look like,
Yeah,
then that at least gives Brent and John, you know, the satisfaction that you guys are good with this.
Yeah.
So if those two are fine, then that gives David a chance to move forward. And then as far as, you know, what's going to be within that 60-foot right of way, that's basically kind of left up to Brent and John to figure out how that can detail out.
so as I recall, so the Greenway trails, I wouldn't know if those are okay or not. Is that up to the Greenway committee?
No, this is kind of what you,
It's been, these are kind of, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it matters really, as it's just the connectivity is the important thing.
Yeah.
But I do recall we did have the conversation about, although there's no sidewalk on the loop road, there would be room in the future to put one in. Is that correct still, David? See there still?
Yes, that's, I mean, I don't see, you know, that's what Chris intends.
Okay, I was gonna say, just remember, we had that conversation, said there doesn't seem to be a need for that, but let's be sure there is room for it should the need arise in the future. So as long as.
it does come down to the resolution that
Right,
planning board does have the right to ask for an escrow for that for future purposes.
right. Okay, I feel like it's been a while since we talked about this. I'd sort of like have to get my head back in the game on this. One of the things though, that I would like to bring up about the thing is, I know that I brought this up before, David, but it's about the Quonset hut and the equipment that is sitting on site there and has been sitting on site there for quite some time and has not been moved. I'm not seeing any movement there. And I think the neighborhood would probably be very pleased to see the hut completed and some of those vehicles stored inside for now, just from a standpoint of aesthetics. And could you just let us know where you're at with that?
Frankly, the speed of the Quonset hut construction is tied to the speed of the approval of these designs. So without an approved plan, I don't have as much need for the Quonset hut. The fact that 20 feet of the Quonset hut is constructed and not 50 feet of the Quonset hut, frankly, I think is of little matter, if driving down Craft Road. If anyone were to object to my little baby school bus and my Airstream motorhome sitting 200 feet from Craft Road behind a hedgerow, maybe they could be relocated. But, frankly, I don't see the condition of the Quonset hut or the two vehicles I have parked there a blight on the neighborhood.
Oh, I just recall there was a sense of urgency to get the Quonset hut put up, and that was quite some time ago. And I just thought, I think it would be perhaps a gesture as a good neighbor, but I'm assuming that everything will move forward so that we can be assured that once the plans move forward, you will complete your Quonset hut? Is that what you're telling me?
Certainly, I certainly would be more motivated to be thinking about, the Lansing Village cottages and the development if, the plans are, further along the way to getting approved. And, again, if anyone objects to my little school bus and my motorhome, maybe I could park them behind the 20-foot section of Quonset hut.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments about what David's presented to us tonight and what John and Mike and Brent have taken a look at?
No, as long as
I'll get in contact with
our staff.
John and let them know that you're this proposal here with the trails.
Yeah, what I would say is it's okay to move ahead as soon as you get feedback from John and Brent that it's okay. No feedback is not acknowledgement. So make sure that they acknowledge it one way or the other. And if they don't have anything that concerns them moving forward, I'm okay with it, Lisa.
Yep.
Pat?
Sounds good.
Jim? Okay.
So I'll be in contact, David.
So I have several questions, more in terms of details of the Greenway Trail and the HOA pathways and stuff. I want to make sure that, everyone's on board with their locations because, this has been discussed many times and, now I'm presenting you with something I consider the final draft if you guys sign off on it. Because, I don't want, John and Brent said that this was, your concern, not their concern. And I don't want to go back to John and Brent and have them say that it's your concern again. So are we good with the paths as presented? And then our inclination is that the Greenway path be surfaced as is noted in the Greenway plan dated from 1994, where wood chip surface is reasonable.
I think we better get I think we should get some additional direction from the Greenway Committee about that.
David, we can get back to you as far as what these are made of. As it goes with the positioning of the sidewalk and the Greenway Trail, the planning board seems to be in agreement that this looks fine. If there's any objections, I don't know what they would be from Brent and John, but we'll find out. But as it is right now, the planning board has okayed, if I'm correct, has okayed what we see on this paper right here.
Yeah, I would say the locations of things are fine.
Yes.
To be able to move forward with the engineers, I think the locations are fine, but like Lisa suggested, I think we need to go back and take a look just to fully understand, the surfaces of those things if there's.
Well, it's best, I think, to David's point, to be as specific as we can.
Absolutely, yeah.
And probably best to have it in writing.
Surfaces and the maintenance and whatnot.
Yes.
Right.
That also.
So we have everybody has the same understanding.
But definitely, David, as far as the locations and everything of the trails, I think that, my recollection is that's, especially over in that, calling it the second phase thing, that's what that looks accurate to what we had discussed about not having to put the sidewalk in now, but yes, having that trail in the middle and, you know, be able to have a future expansion of the sidewalk a little bit further towards Lansing Trails 3, I guess, or 2, whatever it is.
Okay, so tell me what the mechanism is for getting the, you know, kind of final word on surfaces?
I will review things, David, as far as, you know, what the Greenway Committee recommends. The sidewalks, they're basically, John Courtney can let you know about those. And we'll give you some other recommendations for the HOA, what we would like to see. You're on mute,
Well,
David.
you're muted.
Talking about the surface of the HOA? I mean, is this all about what type of trail it will be?
Yes.
I was gonna say, just surfaces and maintenance, right? Location is.
Yeah, the location is fine. It's just surface. I don't know.
Is that satisfactory, David?
Sure, so you'll get back to us on that. And then the last question, maybe just for Brent, but I'll ask it. Are we safe to reopen the application with the Corps of Engineers for their review of the wetlands delineation? And
Yeah, I had some minor questions that I think I remember. The answer is that there's small little portions of there's one lot that has a little finger,
Yes.
and there's the road intersection covers some of it, which I assume that what you're referring to is the application will call these out and seek their approval to allow you to impact those areas. So if I'm describing where you're at, then yes, it's fine to move forward with that.
okay, great. And I don't have any other questions right now, so we'll just have Hunt Engineers forge ahead.
Great. Thanks, David. We appreciate you coming back.
Okay, thanks very much. Bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is other business. So first item is review of proposed tree conservation and replacement law. I know that last time we talked about it, Natalie had made, say, some red lines, more moving of pieces around in our draft. And I know that Lisa hasn't had a chance to meet with her yet, but I think you guys are going to try to sit down and do that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, if we can, this coming week would be great sometime. I think one of my questions, well, one of the things that I keep struggling with as I'm rereading this is this whole replanting word. I just don't feel like we are replanting anything, we're replacing. And that I would,
Also not always replace it.
Right, sometimes it's brand
Sometimes
new
just new,
plantings.
just
Yeah.
planting.
but not replanting, taking things out and replanting, are we? I mean, I find that bothers me. It just keeps bothering me. So I think, all right, when something bothers me, I like to sort of get to the base, whether it's, what is our intent
Depends on what was, I
there?
mean, some will be replanted / replaced and some will be new plantings. So it could just be planting.
So it's, do we want
Call
to
it plantings?
Planting.
planting / replace?
Can you
Or just
call it
planting.
plantings, whether
It
it's
doesn't
new
matter if it's
or a
replacement.
replacement, it's plantings.
It's still a planting.
Whether it's on that site or another place through the tree bank, it's still a planting.
Okay, well, it just keeps bothering me because I think it's
Makes sense.
misleading.
Yeah.
And I'm
a good
thinking like, oh, well, we'll just,
Well, and I think to your point, you might not replant it, you might not replant it, right? You may, because of whatever, building construction is happening, you might knock it down there. But there will be a planting someplace else. It's not necessarily replacing it there on the spot. I guess it's replacing it elsewhere maybe. But in some cases too, remember, it's not, because there was the piece in there about, other energy initiatives.
right.
So that would not be a replanting, so.
No, that's, so it
Plantings
just,
or-
consider every time I come to it, I think. And I just thought, all right, I've just got to deal with this. I can't stand it. The other thing that I wanted to understand, and we'll talk about, some of this is structure.
Yes.
And so you started with section 1, this is supposed to kind of emulate our code. Because it says purpose intent, and then we get to purpose and we just restate that same stuff. And I'm thinking, why do we do that? Do I have the right version?
I haven't honestly looked at that since I sent it to you.
Okay, well, but I really am anxious to move this along to
Yeah.
our trustees.
I have an open week this week.
Good, because, yeah, I kept replanting circled every darn time.
I was just gonna ask if you counted the number of times.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I thought we can just do a search, just stop it.
Just
But
search and replace.
except that when I'm really truly trying to understand something and edit something, I have to read it
Mhm.
and
Yep.
actually preferably out loud, but.
The flow too, yeah. No, that's fine. Okay.
So if we could do that, I think that would be
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll set up.
Come
some
up with a
time.
time.
I was gonna say, yeah, as soon as you've had a chance, we can bring it up at,
And then, yeah,
Say Mike and-
another pass.
Yes.
get it out to everybody and when we're ready to talk about it again as a board.
Yeah, it's sort of like.
Because I would like to,
In a black
Yeah.
vision
Yeah.
and just start over so that everybody really reads it carefully and then maybe we're ready to send it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good.
did you have any comments on that, Mike? No. The next item is to continue the discussion on code updates. And I know you were gonna dig into some stuff, and I know that you've been extraordinarily busy.
I will have some time. I will make some time to, at least send out some suggestions on the list that you put out, Lisa.
Mostly it's, for now, it's mostly cleaning up our situation with our PDA that we had and also with the subdivisions to just clarify our language so that there's no misunderstanding.
I'll go through that. If there's ones I can do, then I'll get them done and we'll set them aside. We'll take a look at them next meeting and.
That would be great because I know that we said it would be nice to do a comprehensive look at but you know what? That's not going to happen the rate we're going here.
Yeah,
But I do think that, so I mentioned it, I think, to Jody today, and she said, oh, Ned Hickey did it piecemeal. And I thought, well, good, then we have some precedent.
There you go.
If it needs changing, it needs changing. But I think we should start looking at our use.
Yeah. and I think that's fine, right? There's the pros and cons to doing either way. I mean, if we do stuff piecemeal and that's not bad, we can at least, maybe it puts us in a better place where at some point we say, okay, we're comfortable with those 8 things we had on the list. We are comfortable with them now. Now let's try to do more of a comprehensive review, knowing that these things are in a much better place with, the goal that we're trying to attempt.
But we had the topics that we did discuss last time, and I think they haven't gone away, so.
No, and I think, especially going into the summer months here, I think that, we can tackle some of these things. Let's get the tree ordinance, tree conservation item done, and then we can move on to, right, there's a lot still to discuss, but.
And it stays light pretty long. We can stay past 9 o'clock if necessary,
Yeah. It's not even 9 o'clock now.
I get a
Barely
second
past it.
monster.
I mean, if we had known that.
Okay. The other item is discussion of new planning board members, right? We are down 1 full member and an alternate, right? Yes, 1 full
Yes.
member and 1 alternate. I know that Laura Barnhill is here with us tonight. She has expressed some interest in being a member of the board. And there's some other people who have expressed a little bit of interest that we've been talking to a little bit here and there. So I think what we'll try to do is get some folks on the agenda next time for the board to ask them some questions. It's for lack of a better term, interview. And we can put some time on the next agenda devoted to that, to talk to folks and see where we're at and potentially make some recommendations to the trustees. Lisa, what did you?
No, I was just going
And-
to say, so, and that can be via Zoom, as we've talked, the interview can be on Zoom so that somebody can't personally be here. And one of the reasons I'm interested in knowing is that obviously, given the new rules from the governor, we have to have a quorum. We know that has to be live. Jim travels some, I travel some. I know I'm going to be away. And I was hoping that we could get a new member on, but also Natalie explained that if necessary, the trustees will be looking at how this works with us attending and participating from afar,
Mhm.
if we have a live quorum. So I'm anxious to,
Yes, the trustees will be setting the policy for use of the video conferencing.
okay. So maybe
Maybe
we should talk
chat to
to
Ronnie.
the mayor,
Yep.
the royal.
I think
we-
it'll be discussed at the next Board of Trustees meeting, which is next Monday.
Is it up to the trustees or is it still up to the state whether a member can be
An active participant.
coming in Zoom and still vote or not?
It is
Up to us.
up to the trustees to decide who can use, in what circumstances you can participate via Zoom.
Okay.
That's for the trustees. The state provided some examples
Yeah.
of reasons to use that, but the municipalities can set their own procedures.
Right, and the examples that the state provided, one of the examples was not, I don't want to drive
I
a
don't
mile
feel
from my
like
house to be
driving.
there. That was not an
It
example they
was
said. It was,
illness,
yeah, things like that. So,
Last minute childcare, things of that nature.
yeah, I'll chat with Ronnie ahead of the.
Last minute child.
Last minute childcare issues.
As long as
Somebody else's.
it's not like medical companies where you have to be missing like 2 fingers off one hand and one off another. And at
Yeah,
least one
I
of
don't
them
think
has
a
to be a
doctor's
thumb.
notes
Yeah, no.
required, yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I'll chat with Ronnie ahead of the trustee meeting and
Yeah.
just let him know kind of where the board's at and how things have been working for us and the importance. I've scheduled all my summer travel around me actually being here on board nights, so that's good.
good.
So I will,
Counting on that.
yeah, I know,
And
right?
Pat, you said too, I think before,
Somebody got
that you're gonna be. most of the
Yes, I'm
summer.
not planning to travel.
He's
Jim,
not-
Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question, and I think, Lisa is probably interested in this too. I mean, I've seen the written materials about the examples that the state gave, like medical reasons or, last minute emergencies, but and I didn't quite hear everything, but do the trustees have the latitude to be, say, more lenient or more flexible?
Yes, that's my interpretation, that they can set the parameters outside the examples set by the state.
So being out of town could suffice.
That is up to the Board of Trustees, yeah.
Okay.
It would be helpful though, because especially in the situation we're at the moment.
Yep. No, absolutely. I will, like I said, I'll chat with Ronnie. Yeah.
No, I'll just add a note, the law is very specific that it's not a board member's right to attend via video conference. So they do put that in there.
What does that mean?
That it shouldn't be used loosely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Totally right. You shouldn't be able to be like, I'm always going to attend
Yes.
Oh, right.
Video.
No,
forever.
that's,
Yeah, okay. There was one other thing I wanted to add under other business, and that was a discussion we had last time about changing the days of the week that we have board meetings. I did chat with Ronnie a little bit. He was supportive of it. He didn't know the history of the first Monday, and he said, talk to Jody, and I've not had a chance to talk to Jody yet. I'm not sure if Jody's gonna know, but I will follow up with Jody. But his suggestion was to keep it on Tuesdays, and maybe do I think he said the second and fourth Tuesday. I know we had batted around some ideas last time, but let me talk to Jody. Let me see if she recalls why it's that way.
there may be a reason.
Right, and that's, yeah.
And I don't know, and of course, we had our discussion with Brent, so we'll see,
Yeah.
because he's pretty instrumental to our meetings.
Yep.
So that, got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Two things. The second Tuesday would be a problem for me, because I have another group that meets on the second Tuesdays. What about, like, let's see, the trustees are the first and third Mondays. We're the second Monday and last Tuesday. What about like the second and third Monday or
Yeah,
second?
I had brought that up with Mike kind of before the meeting, just saying, oh, that's an option too. I just wanted, before we even jump into what the options are, I want to talk to Jody and see, there might be a real good reason why it's that first Monday or second Monday and last Tuesday, before we jump into it. But yeah, it is an option. I mean, I know one of the things it might be that, I know people have commitments on Mondays, but like you said, you have commitments on Tuesdays. I have commitments on Tuesdays sometimes. So, but let me talk to Jody, and at the next meeting, we'll get it added to the agenda, and we'll see what works for folks, or it can stay the same.
Yes, it can. The reason I had said it was after something and we weren't really, and everybody was sort of unprepared. and It was a Tuesday,
Yeah.
thank heavens sort of thing. But if it's going to be Monday, we're right back where we started with, then we really need to look at our deadlines
Yeah.
for submission of materials. This was great.
And Mike got everything out
Yeah,
early.
and it was a Tuesday, so.
Promised, you just promised you to keep doing it.
But that was my sole reason, because I really, we have to be
Yeah.
prepared.
Yep, yeah.
That's what our job is. So that was my reason, but I didn't create such a fuss.
No, I think it's good. I mean, it's good to just have the discussion about why is it this way anyway? Maybe there's a real good reason why I'll go, oh, yeah, great, and that's fine, and end of story, but it's worth looking into. Okay, anything else under other
Jim is
business?
liaison, I think, for June.
What's that?
Jim is liaison, I think, for June.
I am,
Right.
my understanding, Lisa, you assigned me to June and I'm.
There you
I
go.
did. Well, it was your turn, but I almost decided I would, but no, I'm July. But I sent you the chart.
Yes, I have.
Okay, just,
Got it.
all right.
So I guess that kind of leads us into the trustee report. Who was there for? Okay. There you go.
So they talk about the proposed local law C amendment to the Village of Lansing sewer permit fees, passed 5-0. So I went to local law 5, and that passed 5-0. There was a presentation by Tompkins County Youth Commission members, and see, the next thing was the set a public hearing for proposed local law D,
Which is the video conference.
video conferencing law. They tabled that, or they scheduled that for Monday at 7:30. They were considering bids for the water system improvement project along Warren Road and Brown Road. That went to RB Robinson. They also considered bids for the sanitary sewer benefit area expansion project, and it was postponed until this coming Monday's meeting. I think they had one bid that was awfully high, so they're looking at some.
Yeah.
And they approved the tax warrant, 5-0. Go to the permission to.
Short, yeah, it was.
Quite a bit on the agenda, but it was very short, it was about 35 minutes.
Yeah. It was a quick
Oh,
one.
that's not.
Carolyn was
Okay, is there anything else that any of the board members wanted to bring up tonight?
Well, one of the things, of course, with the sanitary sewer, we have in the past, month, had 2 requests for subdivisions of property. And when there's a sewer line, you can, the lot lines can be smaller. And I was wondering I'm not quite sure who's supposed to look at that. I had brought this up with the previous mayor, about the fact that once they start down some of these roads, has anybody done like a look at the possibilities? How many could be subdivided theoretically, whether people want to, but it's
Right.
currently in a low density residential. And, one of the reasons the village was created was to avoid overdevelopment. So what is our plan for this, and who is supposed to be considering this? I'm kind of like, is this something that the trustees sort of say, gee, let's have the planning board look at this, or how does this work? Or do we start the process? Because, I clearly have a vested interest, but I could subdivide my property, but I don't want to subdivide my property.
I couldn't, but I would love for the sanitary sewer to go away.
I still would like a sewer, but I also don't want neighbors all over subdividing like crazy. When what I thought was going to be a low density residential, I did look at the fact that nobody could build next to me, so I thought. But there's a lot of trees and all of it. It just you start thinking about it, but have we thought about it is the point.
I can go, if you'd like, I can run where the sewer is going to go, coming down East Shore and across Cuba Heights Road.
Okay,
I can review those properties. I've got a link that'll help me a lot.
Is this going to be really hard work for you? I think it's important, but I don't want it to.
I can go through and probably give you a good idea by looking at each property. What they could subdivide as is, as opposed to what they can subdivide once the sewer goes through, without those properties requiring a variance.
That's the real point.
And a lot of it'll have to do with frontage.
Yeah, oh, it's frontage is important.
A lot of it will have to do with frontage.
Okay, because so there's more to it than I'm thinking about. It's not just square feet of the lot, it's the frontage.
And these would be just ones that would not need a variance, so it would be
Right.
up to the BZA, you know, how many cattle you can allow. I mean, that's just.
Right, but we've also talked in the past about, we don't want to have code that necessitates variances all over the place. I mean, so I've just been thinking about that, that's all. That would be great if you wouldn't mind doing that. Okay, great. Because you know, obviously too, when more houses go in, okay, you know, chances are they'd be family homes, and then we're gonna have more kids, and then, you know, we know very well that our taxes don't cover our kids when they go to school. Certainly didn't when my kids were in school, and so on and so on. You know, I mean, I think Tony even said once, you know, with development comes additional costs.
Yep.
And so I just have been thinking about that a lot. And what are our goals and where's the comprehensive plan?
And the easier to subdivide too, the more of a demand it will be on the sewer system itself.
Yes, exactly. So then we get into, yeah, it's a little bit interesting when you start thinking about it systemically, you know, the domino effect of it.
And
That
Brent,
would be great.
and Brent's all downhill from us.
Okay, I think that would be a good place to start. And then if it looks like it's really a lot, maybe then approach the trust out.
I will do that.
We have a discussion. Okay. Anything else, Lisa?
No, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
I add something about just the trustee meeting, just with regard to the bids? It means that we got a bid that we could afford, so the sewer project is a go, which we didn't really know until those bids came in.
Right.
Right.
With COVID, everything was looking so expensive, it was definitely not a done deal, but now it looks like we have an option, so that's good news.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Jim, anything you wanted to add?
No,
Okay,
forward to the trustees meeting
there you go.
next Monday.
Look forward to hearing about it at the following meeting. Okay, with that, Michael, do you have anything? Michael, Mike, anything?
Mike?
There's a Mike Scott at CUPD, and I'm like, geez, every time I see his name come up, I was like, what's Mike Scott doing here? Anything you want to add?
No, what you saw on the agenda is about all I have on plate for you guys. I don't see anything else coming up. Of course, that doesn't mean anything, but
Yeah, wait until tomorrow.
I was gonna say it's only Monday,
You
it's
just-
Tuesday, so it's not even.
Did I
Short
say?
week. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
And meeting at
25?
8:25 PM. Thanks, everyone.
Very nice.
Thank you.